video. Today we're here in Bologna, and we're gonna be doing a little bit of a food challenge. We're gonna try to see how much food that's typical of Bologna that we can eat in 3.5 hours, 3 hours. Bologna is probably Italy's food capital. It's not on the list that a lot of people like to travel to. Usually you think of like Rome or Venice or something like that, but here in Bologna, this is Italy's food capital, and we're starting off here at a cafe. This is not part of the challenge, but we are going to try to fuel up here on some cappuccino and some pastry. So I think I got a little ahead of myself already because I bit my lip this morning thinking about how much food we're going to be eating today. So I got started already without Mariana. This is a girella. This is kind of like a cinnamon roll, but it doesn't have cinnamon and it has raisins, although the idea is more or less the same. So let me go ahead and give this a taste.
Don't eat your lips.
Oh my God, yeah. It's sticky. It's like, imagine if you just took a croissant and you spun it in a circle.
Let's see if we get the pistachio pool. There it is.
Look at that, that's amazing. This is heaven on earth right here, people.
Yeah, they actually put like a lot of filling here. I'm like, you know, you took all the filling.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to give you some of this here. Look at this. I feel bad for the people who have to clean this up. But let's see. Oh my God. I think I got more of the croissant on me than in me.
Don't get too full, because remember, we're gonna be eating a lot in the next 3 hours.
Yeah. So we haven't started the challenge yet, remember. So
this is the pregame.
This is we're pre-gaming before our food challenge.
So in order to also make it a bit more interesting today, we're gonna give ourselves a 3-hour window to be able to eat all the street food in Bologna, or as much as we can, realistically. So, Siri, set a timer for 3 hours. Let's go. The first stop on our list is going to be to get some local street pasta. And I didn't know there was such a thing, but yes, there is street pasta in Bologna. And this is also the only location that's kind of outside the city center. So that's why we're kind of like power walking there now, because it all has to be within the 3 hours. Bologna has so many amazing restaurants. It was actually very difficult to just pick a few for this video.
If you followed our other adventures, one of the things you'll notice is that Italy has a very strange relationship with the times that restaurants and other businesses open, because even though this place is technically open, it says that the kitchen doesn't open until 12. So we are officially 14 minutes early, and we're not gonna be able to start eating just yet. So I don't know if we're gonna put our alarm on pause here, but we'll have to decide that because we're still waiting another 15 minutes. But even in a big city like this idea that, oh, everything's gonna be open, it's not like a small town, definitely not the case. We still have to wait, unfortunately, so I hope it's worth it.
Don't trust Google.
2 hours later.
All right, so we paused the timer there just to be fair for the time, and the place should be open now, hopefully, so I'm gonna go in and see if I can order something delicious. All right, so this might look a little weird, but we had to go off to the side because this thing is extremely hot. I was hoping I was gonna be able to hold it and eat it right in front of the restaurant. It's way too hot for that. I wanted to set it down on the ground, but it's kind of gross. So we found a little windowsill over here. I'm gonna open it up for you all. Look at that. Look at that. Wow. Damn.
Wow, that is fresh.
You can feel the heat coming right off of it.
Oh my God, I smell it.
Yeah, it actually took about 11 or 12 minutes for them to make it. Even though this is already technically made, they had to cook it for us. So this just lets you know that it's definitely fresh. The Pasca Fresca label that they have at the restaurant is definitely, they actually gave us metal forks. I'm guessing we should bring these back.
Yeah.
This was €11 total, which is about more or less like $11. Ooh, I want to burn myself. It's very chewy. Oh, it's very, very fresh. Wow. Amazing. I think we gotta let this cool off for a second. I like hot food, but I don't like it that hot.
Meanwhile,
I think Vernon underestimated how good this pasta was. Oh my God. So pasta here is a little like, what is it called? Al dente? Mm-hmm. But it's just like a little hard. But the sauce, the olive oil, the ragu.
I wouldn't say it's hard, I'd say it's about chewy. It's a little chewy.
There's something charming and romantic eating it on the ancient streets of Bologna. Did you see how much olive oil there is?
Oh my God.
Like when you look on the bottom, let me see. You can see like the glistening.
How do these people not get fat?
That's a good question. That's like the $1 million question.
If I'm not mistaken, I believe Bologna is called the Fat City.
Oh, gordita?
Grasso.
Grasso.
Gordito. So it's
Too many
like,
languages.
Yeah, it's like the Fat City, which is basically every city in the US. This one in particular is called that because the food is just so damn good here that you don't want to stop eating, and that's kind of what it feels like here.
That's our motto for today. So you could say we really like the pasta, and you can see all the olive oil that's left on the bottom. How would you rate the pasta?
Oh my God, that's 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10?
Especially, yeah, for just being so simple. I don't really care for overly complicated food sometimes. This is one of those things where you just want a bite of pasta and you don't want anything fancy or special. This is it.
That was delicious, but we are still very hungry. So now we're gonna go and have the traditional food that you could say Bologna is known for. You know what it is?
Is it Mortadella?
Yes.
Ooh.
So Mortadella, if you don't know, think of it as like fancy bologna. That's the way I would look at it.
I mean, it is. It
If
really
somebody's
is.
never had it before, it's like bologna but times 10.
This is like if Oscar Mayer put on a suit and tie.
I like that comparison. Fun fact for you that's not food, Bologna has one of the best preserved medieval city centers in Europe. So yes, there are other things to do here besides eat. I've never seen so many different mortadella options. We're not beer people, but I feel like on YouTube it seems like we're beer people. They had Bologna beer. I never had Bologna beer. So, do you know Blue Moon? Tastes like Blue Moon. I just need like an orange slice in there. It's really nice. It's very smooth. It's not like I don't like Guinness. I'm sorry. I don't like dark beers. This is like a really nice light. I think it's an ale. You want to try? I love forcing you to drink beer. What do you think?
It's pretty light. It tastes
neutral, right?
Yeah. I don't know what kind of beer it is either. It doesn't really say on here. I don't think they care. Honestly, I think that as long as it goes well with the mortadella sandwich, that's all that matters.
Bene, grazie. This is one of the more unusual street foods I've never actually seen here. So it's a cone with cubed mortadella. Ooh, so it's cubed mortadella that's been fried with cheese and pistachio. Oh my God. The kid in me right now.
Whoa, look at that.
I got
Oh
the
my
cheese
God.
pool. This with the beer on a hot Italian summer day. I'm gonna start to do like a food dance. This is amazing. I mean, it's mortadella, it's nothing fancy, but it's just big chunks of it, fried with this salty cheese and the sweetness of the pistachio nuts.
There's a lady in the background over there. You probably can't see it, but she's also eating like a pizza, like street food kind of pizza. So it looks like Bologna is where it's at for street food.
It's definitely living up to its name of being the food capital of Italy and also the fat one. Do you approve?
Yes.
Don't you feel like a kid again eating that?
It looks really sweet, but it's extremely savory. So one of the best parts about being in the food capital of Italy is that right next door to the place that we ate is the next place that we're going to eat. So I'm gonna head there right now. All right, so after going next door, I decided to go with the sandwich called the Romagna. This is like €8, and it's got a ton and ton of prosciutto inside there. Look at this. It's got a bunch of other stuff too, but I forgot what it was.
But does it taste good?
Does it taste good? Let's see.
So this is, I think, like their to-go sandwich here, the piadina. That took like 3 minutes to make.
There's something sweet about this one.
Sweet? You know
Yeah.
why? What region are we in?
Emilia Romagna.
What's this sauce that's popular here?
I don't know.
Balsamic.
Oh,
Modena. You forgot about that. Everyone forgets about that city.
I did, but I don't think that's what's on here.
No?
I think there's like a fig jam or something like that.
Oh. You know what they also like? They like caramelized onions.
Yeah, it could be that.
Oh, that is sweet. Wow.
This is a must-have.
Everyone talks about how in Italy they eat pizza and pasta, but nobody really talks about that they actually love sandwiches in Italy. And there's like particular sandwiches depending on which region you are. So here it's the piadina, and then there's also like the fluffy mortadella sandwich, which hopefully we have room for in the next hour and a half. Now this reminds me, this looks like those nasty hard sandwiches, like the bread you get. It's quite the opposite. This is so soft. It's warm. It's probably baked an hour ago. The cheese is salty. The onions with whatever jam it is are sweet. The prosciutto is salty. So this is like the perfect sweet and savory. Wow, this place is packed. So that was probably the smallest food market we've seen here in Italy. And unfortunately, it was very packed and not very local foods. And the local foods that were there were just like no seats and nowhere to even stand. So I think we're gonna go look elsewhere for like more, something delicious in Bologna. Considering how much food there is in this city, honestly, you can probably spend a whole week doing different food tours every single day and still not eat everything in this city. You think it's busy here?
That's an understatement. This place is completely packed. I'm not even sure if you guys can hear us out there because there are people everywhere. This is like one of the densest places that we've ever seen in Italy, is this little market area. But we don't care about that right now because we've actually gotten lucky and found a table. And we got these little thing called farcite. They're like little tiny sandwiches, so if you can't decide on one sandwich, don't worry, you can have 4. And then these random spritz that we found. This one's called a green spritz.
And then this is like a peach spritz.
I think if you drink enough of these green ones, you'll turn into the Hulk.
Maybe the Grinch.
Ooh. Ooh, that one ain't for me.
Really? Try this one.
Okay.
Better? The peach?
Better, much better.
These sandwiches, though, you didn't mention, you can only, I think, get in Bologna, and they have this trademark little, what is this, like when you imprint somebody?
They look like, you know what they kind of,
Engraving.
yeah, they have these little engravings on them, but you know what they kind of look like? Like English muffins.
Oh, yeah.
They look like sandwiches made out of English muffins.
So you got 4 different flavors. Which one's that?
I don't know. The guy started asking me which ones we wanted, and I just started reading off random numbers because I didn't want to hold him up because he looked really, really busy. So this is just one of those times where you gotta just experiment.
This is one of those places where you feel, if you feel claustrophobic, probably avoid eating here because there's probably like 100 people that just passed next to me in the last minute alone. But I think definitely the food here is worth it. So just go in for one of these sandwiches. I have more, I think this is prosciutto cotto and some type of cheese. Honestly, half the time, because the food here is so regional and so specific that even if you know some Italian, it's not really going to help you because it's a specialty for that region. So you have to be a bit of a adventurous food because half the time, honestly, we don't know what we're eating. Ooh. There's a pate on here.
Pate?
Yeah.
Oh shoot, that's amazing.
This is probably like my favorite street food in the summertime. Oh, don't wear white. Anywhere you look in Bologna, you are going to find something delicious and something amazing you probably never had before. Another awesome pro tip, if you're really on a budget but you still want to eat really well in Bologna, there are plenty of these types of stores where you can buy meats, cheeses, pastas, etc., whatever you want to try in the city, and then just cook it back at the hotel or your Airbnb and still enjoy the food and still be on a budget. So you're going to find stores like this literally on every single corner in this city.
So this is not our first time here in Bologna, but I do know that we have to come back again because there's just a lot more stuff to cover here. This is a huge city. We were here once before in another video, very close by at a place called Fico, which is kind of like an amusement park dedicated to food. So that just goes to show you how important food here is in Bologna. But today we're just doing food, and later on we're gonna do in another video more stuff to see in Bologna.
Don't they have the oldest university here?
Yeah, actually, I think it is. I think it's like almost 1,000 years old or something like that.
So we're gonna go to another market called Mercato delle Erbe. Hopefully we have better luck there and it's not as crazy busy as this one was. And there's actually maybe like little bites of food we can actually pick up and try. I'm looking for some Parmigiano, Parmesan cheese.
Yep.
I know they call it differently here, but for people that don't know. So we found Parmigiano that was 100 months old. We're gonna come back at the end of this video and actually get some to try at home because the oldest one I've ever seen in my life here was 48 months. So I was shocked to see 100-month-old. I'm genuinely curious to see what it tastes like because the 48 months already tastes like super hard and kind of like crystallized. So it's interesting to see what double that will be.
The older Parmigiano Reggiano or the older Parmesan cheese is the stuff that you're used to having shaved on pasta. The younger stuff is a little too soft, so the older it gets, the more hard it gets and the easier it is to sort of shave off on the food. So that's probably the one that most people are used to. I sent a picture of that just now to a friend of mine who's been here since the 80s, and he's never even heard of 100-month Parmesan cheese. So that must be unique.
We need to pick him some up.
Yeah, we'll definitely get him some.
Settle a debate for Vernon and I. Ignored the vase in the middle of the jacuzzi for some reason. But do you think it's a good investment to get an inflatable jacuzzi in your house? I say yes. Vernon says no.
No. Either get the real thing or don't bother.
But we don't have the space. This is perfect. Comment down below. If we get 100 comments on this video, I get a jacuzzi.
Jesus.
This marketplace was definitely much bigger than the other one we went to earlier today. Unfortunately, a lot of the stalls were already closed, but we did find some restaurants hidden on the sides. Unfortunately, most of them were like the proper sit-down restaurants where you would have to order a full meal and then some. We wanted something quick, ready to go, and we didn't have to wait too long for.
So we were looking for another little spot to eat at for the challenge, and we stumbled upon this market that we thought was really cool. We went inside and we were kind of bummed out for a second or two because we thought, well, this is just a local market where people buy fruits and vegetables. But as we kept walking through the market, one of the things that we spotted was a little food court area. And I don't think I saw a single tourist there, at least not that was obvious to me. And so I think that that was one of those hidden ones that you find every once in a while that are just locals only. But all of the tables implied that it wasn't really a street food kind of place, and it was more of something where you sit down and eat and drink at. So we kind of scratched that one off the list. But it's really cool when you explore, you get lost, and you just find stuff like that because you might just end up where the locals are.
We'll eat there next time, that's for sure. Because they had a lot of really good places, so.
This is the line, look at the whole thing. Okay, so we have about 26 minutes left, and as you can see from the line behind me, there is no way we're gonna be able to get something and finish it before then. So we're just gonna go ahead and skip to the next place, which is probably my favorite part of the whole thing, gelato. We got a little ahead of ourselves earlier when we said we had good luck with lines. I guess we jinxed ourselves. There's no way, there's no way. It's gonna take at least an hour to get what we want, so.
2:34, I guess, don't come here when they're open up.
Come here when they open up because the tourists will get here before you.
So I mean, stay tuned for the next video when we actually do try this place.
But onwards to gelato.
One of the things I guess we didn't take into account is how big Bologna is, because you're walking around and you don't realize that we're at 11,000 steps right now. And it actually takes probably a good, 10-15 minutes to go from one place to another. But because it's such a big city with so many beautiful buildings, museums, churches everywhere, you know, naturally we want to stop by and take pictures and inquire within. So I think we're a little short on time, but we still have always time for gelato.
That's amazing. Pro tip, whenever you come to Italy and you can't decide which of the gelatos to get the one that's named after the place, because those ones usually are like a specialty one, something that they do that's unique that you're not gonna find anywhere else. So if you're looking for one-of-a-kind gelatos, always get with the one that's named after the place. This one is named after the place called Maggiore, and it's like a cream of limoncello. So good.
I went a little bit more boring. I just love my pistachio. We're in Bologna. I already had like 2 other things than pistachio today, but this is always like a safe bet. As we were walking around and bummed out that we couldn't have the sandwich, we found something even better.
The parmesan cream?
Yeah, please.
Okay, two?
No, well, just one. Yeah, just to try it. I was kind of hoping we were done. I thought we were done. There was just so much food today after we had the gelato. But then we walked past the fried tortellini, and Mariana pointed it out, so we had to go in and get it. So yeah, they're like these little fried pieces of ravioli covered in Parmesan cheese and this cream cheese as well.
I feel like Italians are gonna crucify you for calling those ravioli. So like tortellini, I think is like a type of thing to eat here, the type of pasta to eat here. But usually they do it in like the broth. But clearly you can't really do that on the go. So they came up with the fried version with a bunch of cheese on top.
This honestly tastes like something you should be eating at a soccer game. You know what it is? Even though I'm full, it is good. It's just also kind of addictive.
So what you're saying is don't come to Bologna if you're in a diet. With how much cheese they put on here, honestly, this is gelato round 2. Oh my God. I've never had fried pasta in my life. I don't think, how are you eating this with a stick?
I know, it's kind of hard. I feel like you need a spoon to eat it.
Dude, this at the beach, they need to sell this at the beach. It's crunchy. Oh my God. So I wonder if you cook the pasta like kind of raw and then you fry it? This is delicious. I don't want to know how many calories we consume today.
It is true that Italians are generally a lot thinner than where we're from in the US, but I feel like if you eat enough of anything, you're not going to be thin for very long.
But when food is this good, it's worth it.
And imagine our luck that we just found this with like 10 minutes to spare left in the challenge.
Well, we were actually on our way to go buy the 100-month-old Parmigiano, which is also on top here. So they sneak it in everywhere. So it looks like without the pile of cheese. It's so crispy. You ready to go find the cheese?
I'm ready, let's do it.
When you're walking through Bologna, honestly, it feels like you're walking through a giant food museum. Any window, any corner, anywhere you look, you will find something delicious and something local. I'm very happy to see that Bologna is slowly becoming more touristy with people outside of Italy because this city has so much to see, it has so much to offer, and the best, it has so much to eat. And of course, we had to go get the Parmigiano that's 100 months old.
Okay, so the alarm just went off, so the 3 hours is up. We ended up getting one of these 100-month Parmigiano Reggianos for ourselves, one for our friend who's been here for a while, which we told you about earlier, and one for our neighbor as well. She's currently watching our little dog, so we thought we'd get her one of those.
Honestly, I didn't think you're able to eat so much food in 3 hours. I think we're definitely probably gonna have a salad for dinner tonight.
Or water. Honestly, we're so tapped out from all that food. I think it's gonna be a while before we come back to Bologna. There's not much else I'm craving from this town anymore.
But what did we learn today? There's a lot of food here.
And you can eat quite a lot of food in 3 hours if you really push it.
Yeah, we should probably set like 60 minutes. Next time, we gotta be smarter.
Also, we did learn that 100-month Parmigiano Reggiano does exist. That's a thing.
Honestly, I didn't expect when you were making a video like this, you realize actually how many restaurants there are in certain cities. Like I think in Bologna, I realized there's actually, I think, more restaurants and food places than there are actual like stores for shopping, because every single corner honestly has like 3 or 4 restaurants. Like they literally stack them next to each other or sometimes on top of one another, which is pretty cool. But definitely if you come to Bologna, you will not be hungry, you will not be disappointed.
Stay tuned for the next video. Like, comment, and subscribe. Tell us in the comment section what you thought and what you thought was the best thing that we ate. Maybe something we missed out on, and the next time we come back here we should check out. But until next time, ciao.